Hey, this is Mark Oz. You're listening to Her Per Parade.
It says here we should work in teams. I tend to think of myself as a one-man wolf pack.
You are about to enter Information Overload, a worldwide transmission with Her Per Parade's featured Breeder of the Week. Here's your host, Jason Rossi.
What's up, world? Welcome back to H3. I'm your host, Jason Rossi. We are streaming live on RossiReptiles.com and, as always, on iTunes. This week's featured Breeder of the Week is here and is working with a killer project that I'm pleased to be a part of. Mark Haas from Shinja, www.shinjainc.com, is this week's special guest. Mark, welcome to Her Per Parade.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your schedule and coming to talk to us.
No problem. Anytime.
All right, man, why don't you tell us about that little incident, well, not little, the big incident that changed some things for you on January 22nd.
Yeah, sure. I was, I think a lot of people can actually relate to this. Someone was calling me, wanted to do a deal. They called me, texted me, and said, hey, I want to buy some snakes. I said, okay, and he was like, I want to do cash, and I said, that's okay. I chose the place, everything. The area. I've met people there before. It's well lit. It was during the day and everything, and I went there and I got held up at my car, but pulled me out of the car, hopped in, and then he proceeded to shoot me. So he shot me in the chest. It shattered my clavicle, went through my lung, went out my back. He ended up stealing my car, wrecking my car like half a mile away or something like that. So he didn't even get anything. And then what ended up happening is I ran into a restaurant. They called the police and the ambulance. And luckily enough, I was about 4 miles away from the a very good trauma center, and one of the best trauma centers outside of Philly. And so they sent me there, and it was pretty serious. The doctors told me I was about 3 millimeters away from dying. Passed through some, missed my jugular, some of the other, pretty vital arteries, and I was in the hospital for a week, and then it took me right around 5 months to heal, I guess. So yeah, it was a pretty all for pinstripes and chocolates, pretty much. So it was definitely not worth it, but it is what it is.
So do you have a different outlook on life now?
Oh yeah, it really does change the way you look at things. Definitely how you treat people. Really, what you value is important. A lot of things are different. Kind of everything that you may have thought was this is the end of the world. I got to get this done, or I need to make this amount of money, or I got to do this. In the end, that stuff doesn't really mean anything. Just being happy. Your family, friends, those type of things are really what makes things go, and you kind of realize that when you almost die. So it was a tragic thing that happened to me, but it ended up being a very kind of eye-opening thing in the end. And so here I am. You go through something like that, you can end up getting real depressed, and why this happened to me, or you can kind of move on and actually look at it as a positive, and I survived this type of situation, and kind of make things make your life better. So that's what I'm doing.
So how are you doing now?
I'm doing pretty good. I might have to have surgery on my shoulder. When it shattered, the bullet actually ricocheted off my clavicle. It kind of actually created like a shockwave going down my arm, so my AC joint kind of got messed up. So I probably will need some surgery. Hurts a little bit when I breathe deep because I, obviously had some shattered ribs. But overall, I'm doing a lot better. It took me a while to physically feel pretty good. And, I did start working out after about a couple months, but it's been, it took about 5 months for my clavicle to actually heal. So it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. I was coughing up blood for about 3 weeks because the bullet went through my lung. So it was it was definitely an experience. But the guy's in jail now, and ironically enough, and this is one of the sad aspects to this was the fact that a lot of people knew this guy. And he was in the reptile industry. He was actually known for stealing animals from people. He actually stole the pin pied from Brian Barczyk, and some other animals, and unfortunately, no one ever prosecuted him. So sometimes when criminals get away with things over and over and over again, it escalates, to a point of they think they can do anything, and unfortunately, that's where we are now. So I think it's important for the industry to kind of look out for each other, for the good people in the industry, and when there's someone out there like that, or some group of people out there like that, they should let it be known, because I didn't know about him at all, and I go to a show and everybody knows about him, and I was like, I wish I knew, but so obviously I'm going to I changed the way I do things a little bit and stuff like that, but it's one of those things where you can only change so much. It's a fact that there are bad people out there, and they're going to do some bad things, and this is just a situation that occurred. So.
Well, it's a horrible situation to be in, and hopefully, you're doing better and 10 times stronger now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm doing a lot better. This breeding season has been a little rough, but for good reason. But overall, it's I'm coming up on the anniversary of it in January, so it's you feel good about things when you kind of go through that experience and you're still alive and everything's going well and you can breed and sell snakes, and hey, you got your health, and life is not that bad.
Are you still in physical therapy?
I didn't actually really do too much physical therapy. My clavicle was basically what they told me. I went for them to show me some exercises, but I lift weights a lot anyway. I'm kind of an avid, I'm a little bit of a workout nut. So basically,
Your gym rat.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. My orthopedic surgeon basically told me, hey, if it doesn't hurt, you can do it. If it hurts, stop. That was basically it. So that's what I did. Started working out, but I guess a couple of weeks after I got shot, with I couldn't do much. The only thing I did was I walked my dogs around, but I was able to start working out about 2 months after. But I think for about a month and a half, or I couldn't even lift my arm, past a certain amount. I mean, if you ever had your clavicle fractured or anything like that, it just really, it really debilitates you from doing much with your arm. So it was a new experience for me. I think it's the longest I haven't worked out in my life. So it was a little bit liberating, I guess. But but I'm doing much better now. Aside from the fact that I might have to have surgery, but it's all good.
I'm glad to hear that, man. That is an unbelievable story, man. I can't even fathom that. So glad to have you here.
Great. Thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, well, let's get into the snake talk here.
Sure.
Why don't you tell our listeners about the Spectre ball python?
So the Spectre, my Spectre, I actually imported, way back in the day. I didn't really know what it was, and